There is a car sitting 3 blocks from where I grew up in Dearborn, Michigan. A 1964 Ford Galaxy 500 in Rangoon red, still wearing the paint it left the factory with. Not restored, not repainted. Original. And when the sun hits that hood at 4 in the afternoon, it does not look 61 years old. It looks the way it looked when the man drove it off the dealer lot on Michigan Avenue in the spring of 1964, and his wife told him the color was too loud. I know this because I have talked to that man's son, and I know why that paint still looks that way. It is not because of the product he uses. It is because of something his father learned from a body shop foreman named Earl Grzelak, who spent 22 years working final paint inspection at the River Rouge plant, and who died in 1991, knowing something the detailing industry has spent the last 6 decades trying to make sure you never figure out. There is a compound that costs about $1 a treatment. You can buy both ingredients at any farm supply store or online. It takes 20 minutes to apply. It does not polish your paint. It does not fill in scratches with wax. It restores the molecular structure of the paint film itself. And the reason you are only hearing about this now, in this video, is the same reason you have never heard about most of the things on this channel. Because it works too well to be profitable for the people who profit from you not knowing it. Stay with me. By the end of this video, I am going to give you the exact procedure, the exact materials, and the exact sourcing guidance. But first, I need to tell you about a document. If this channel has ever given you something you could not find anywhere else, do me a favor right now and subscribe. Because what I am about to walk you through took me the better part of 2 years to piece together, and there is more like it coming every week. In 1961, the Fisher Body division of General Motors stopped using a specific top coat treatment in its Detroit assembly plants. Fisher Body was the division responsible for painting and finishing every General Motors vehicle body from the 1920s through the early 1980s. They painted Chevrolets. They painted Cadillacs. At their peak, they were finishing over 1.5 million vehicle bodies per year inside a single complex. The treatment they stopped using had been part of their internal finishing process since at least 1948. It was not applied to every car. It was applied selectively, primarily to demonstration vehicles, fleet vehicles for executives, and cars bound for car show display. The cars treated with this process were the ones that photographers used for promotional materials. They were the ones that sat under showroom lights for 6 months and still looked wet. The compound was tung oil. Not the tung oil you find in the woodworking aisle today, mixed with mineral spirits and resins until the bottle is barely 10% of the actual substance. Raw, unprocessed tung oil, pressed directly from the nut of the tung tree, with nothing added and nothing taken out. And it was not used alone. Here is what tung oil actually is, because the name gets thrown around by every finishing product on the market, and almost none of them contain the real thing. The tung tree, Vernecia fordi, is native to southern China. Marco Polo wrote about Chinese sailors sealing the hulls of their boats with it in the 13th century. The Chinese have known for 1,000 years that tung oil does something that no petroleum-based product can replicate. When it contacts air and a metal surface simultaneously, it does not just coat, it cures. It undergoes oxidative polymerization, which means the individual oil molecules link together into a continuous film that bonds directly to the surface beneath it at the molecular level. On wood, this creates a finish harder and more water-resistant than any linseed oil or standard varnish. On paint, specifically on the oxidized clear coat and lacquer of an older vehicle, it does something the detailing industry has never been able to bottle and sell at a markup. It actually reverses the oxidation process by penetrating the degraded paint film, filling the microscopic voids left by ultraviolet damage and solvent evaporation, and then polymerizing in place to create a new structural layer within the original finish. The American automotive industry knew this. The tung tree was cultivated across the American South from the early 1900s onward. By 1942, the United States was producing over 100 million pounds of tung oil annually. The paint industry used it as a core ingredient in alkyd enamels and primers throughout the 1940s and into the 1950s. General Motors' own finish specifications from this period, some of which I have seen copies of through a contact who spent 30 years in automotive coatings research, referenced tung oil as a primary binding and curing agent. Then, in the early 1960s, acrylic lacquer took over the automotive topcoat market. By 1963, General Motors was painting virtually every car with acrylic lacquer systems. The new paints were faster to apply, easier to automate, and more compatible with the metallic pigments that color designers were demanding. Tung oil, which had been a staple of the paint chemist's toolkit for 40 years, was quietly set aside. And with it went the knowledge of what raw tung oil could do to a paint surface that had aged and oxidized. I found out about Walter Koch the same way I find out about most things. Someone at a swap meet mentioned his name. I was in Pontiac, Michigan, looking at a parts car, and the man selling it told me he had learned how to restore faded paint from an old GM man who had been talking at a cruise night a few months earlier. He could not remember the old man's full name. He remembered it started with K. It took me 4 months to find Walter Koch. He is 81 years old, and he lives in a house in Warren, Michigan, 2 miles from the site of the old GM Tech Center. He worked for Fisher Body and then for GM's Central Paint Laboratory from 1966 to 1998, 32 years in automotive coatings development. When I knocked on his door on a Tuesday morning in October, he looked at me for a long moment and then said, "Come in and sit down," and told me his wife had made coffee. Walter told me that when he started at Fisher Body in 1966, there was an older man in the paint lab named Harold Sabo who had been there since 1951. Harold was the one who still used the T. Young oil treatment, not officially, not as part of any production protocol, but quietly, on his own time, on specific cars he wanted to look right. Harold showed Walter the method in 1967. Walter used it for the rest of his career without ever writing it down, because in 32 years, nobody had ever asked him about it, and he saw no reason to. He wrote it down for me the afternoon I visited him, in pencil, on a yellow legal pad, with the same careful precision of a man who spent 3 decades measuring viscosity and film thickness to the 3rd decimal place. Here is what the method is. I am going to tell you exactly what Walter told me, with no modifications and no additions, because the precision is the entire point. You need 2 things. Raw, unrefined tung oil, also sold as pure tung oil with no additional ingredients. The bottle should list only 1 ingredient, tung oil. If it lists anything else, you have a mixed product, and it will not work the same way. You can order genuine raw tung oil online for about $6 to $8 for a pint, which is enough to treat multiple vehicles. The second ingredient is ferrous sulfate, also called iron sulfate or copperas, sold as a soil amendment for acidifying garden beds around azaleas and blueberries. A 5-pound bag costs about $4 at any nursery or farm supply. You will use a fraction of an ounce per treatment. Ferrous sulfate is the catalyst. Tung oil polymerizes slowly on its own when exposed to air. The iron ions in ferrous sulfate dramatically accelerate that polymerization at the surface level, driving the curing process into the paint film within hours rather than days. Walter told me that Harold Sabo learned this from a coach builder who had come over from Germany before the war, a man who used the same combination on painted iron horse carriages because the tung oil alone took too long to cure before the next rain came through. The procedure is as follows. You wash the vehicle thoroughly and allow it to dry completely. You mix 1 teaspoon of ferrous sulfate crystals into 8 ounces of raw tung oil and stir until the crystals are fully dissolved, which takes about 3 minutes. The mixture will appear slightly darker than the tung oil alone. Working 1 panel at a time, starting with a horizontal surface, you apply the mixture with a lint-free cotton cloth using straight overlapping strokes, not circles, straight lines. You allow it to sit on the surface for exactly 12 minutes. Then you wipe it off completely with a clean cloth using the same straight line motion, removing all excess. You do not buff it. You do not work it. You remove the excess and leave the surface alone for 24 hours. What is happening in those 12 minutes is this. The ferrous sulfate-activated tung oil is penetrating the surface layer of oxidized or degraded clear coat. On a molecularly intact clear coat, this penetration is minimal. On a surface that has lost structural integrity through ultraviolet exposure, the tung oil is entering those voids and beginning to polymerize in place. When you wipe away the excess after 12 minutes, you are removing only the oil that did not penetrate. What remains inside the paint film continues to cure over the next 24 hours, linking into a continuous polymer network that restores the optical clarity of the surface and renews its ability to reflect light. This is why a faded hood looks glossy after this treatment. Not because you have applied a coating on top of the paint, because you have restored the structural integrity of the paint itself. I asked Walter whether this technique could be used on modern clear coat, on vehicles with urethane and waterborne systems applied after the mid-1990s. He said yes, with two conditions. First, the clear coat must be fully cured, which means the vehicle must be more than 3 years old. Second, the dwell time drops to 8 minutes on modern clear coat because the film is more structurally dense and less porous. On older lacquer and enamel finishes, the original 12-minute dwell is correct. Now I know the objections that are forming in your mind, because I had the same ones when Walter was explaining this to me at his kitchen table. First objection: will this void your vehicle's paint warranty? If your car is still under a new vehicle warranty, do not do this. Wait until the warranty expires. This technique is for vehicles that the warranty has already left behind. The cars with 80,000 miles and faded hoods and paint that has gone chalky on the roof where the sun hits hardest. That is the vehicle this is designed for. The one the detailing shop told you needs a full repaint at $4,000 because it is too far gone for correction. Second objection: will the ferrous sulfate damage the paint? Iron sulfate is used extensively in water treatment and agriculture because it is chemically stable and does not react aggressively with organic polymers at the concentrations used here. The concern about iron on paint surfaces comes from iron contamination, bonding to the surface from brake dust and industrial fallout, which is a different situation entirely. Free iron particles bonding to the surface from outside, not dissolved iron ions in a carrier that penetrates and then cures in place. Walter's 32 years of coatings chemistry background informed his confidence on this point, and he put it plainly: the ferrous sulfate is not there to contact the paint. It is there to activate the tung oil before it contacts the paint. Third objection: is this just wax? Does it wash off? Wax works by depositing a thin hydrophobic layer on top of the surface that fills scratches optically and sheds water. It washes off because it has no chemical bond to the paint beneath it. What this treatment does is structurally different. The polymerized tung oil that cures within the paint film is not on the surface. It is inside the surface. It does not wash off for the same reason that the paint itself does not wash off. Walter told me he has seen this treatment hold on vehicles for 3 to 4 years of regular washing before needing renewal. Now let me tell you about the 1964 Galaxy, because this is where the method stops being a technique and becomes something else. The man who owns that car is named Dennis Gruber. He is 67 years old, and he drives that Galaxy to work twice a week. His father bought it new in 1964 from Mulvey Ford on Michigan Avenue in Dearborn. His father knew Earl Grzelak, the River Rouge paint inspector I mentioned at the beginning of this video. Earl told Dennis's father about the tung oil treatment in 1971, when the car was 7 years old and the paint was beginning to show its first signs of oxidation. Dennis's father applied it that year, and every 2 years after that, until he passed away in 2004. Dennis has continued applying it every 2 to 3 years since. When I stood in Dennis Gruber's driveway in Warren, Michigan last November, I ran my hand across the hood of that car. The paint is not perfect. There are stone chips along the lower front edge. There is a small scratch above the driver's door from a shopping cart in 1989 that Dennis told me his father was angrier about than almost anything else in that decade. But the paint itself, the original Rangoon red lacquer applied at the River Rouge assembly plant in November 1963, is intact flexible, and still glossy in a way that paint from 1963 has no business being. That car has been driven every year of its existence. It is not a garage queen. It is not a trailer queen. It is a working car that has been treated with $1's worth of raw tung oil and ferrous sulfate every couple of years for more than 5 decades. That is not detail work. That is preservation. And there is a difference. Here is why you have never seen this on any detailing channel, in any enthusiast magazine, in any video, from any of the major automotive restoration accounts online. The detailing industry sells products. Every product has a margin. The margins on clay bars and compound and polish and wax and ceramic coating packages are substantial, and they depend on a customer who comes back regularly and believes that the solution to faded paint is a more expensive product applied more often. A treatment that costs less than $1 and needs to be done twice a decade is not a product. It is a practice, and practices do not have marketing budgets. Fisher Body did not classify this treatment in a dramatic sense. There was no sealed file. There was no memo ordering chemists to stay quiet. What happened was simpler and more complete. When acrylic lacquer made the old methods obsolete for production purposes, the knowledge associated with those methods stopped being passed on. The men who knew it retired. Some of them kept using it on their own cars, in their garages, the way Earl Grzelak taught Dennis Gruber's father, in a driveway in Dearborn in 1971. Most of them did not pass it on because there was nobody asking. Nobody was asking because nobody knew to ask. And within a decade, the entire detailing industry had filled that empty space with products and margins and the persistent myth that original paint cannot survive, that it must be corrected and sealed and coated and eventually repainted, and that a 60-year-old car with original paint is a miracle rather than the natural result of doing something